Hello everyone, welcome to another video lesson for Math 121, and for today's video lesson we are going to discuss about bottom and top navigation, how to implement bottom and top navigation in React Native project using React Navigation. So take note, whatever we discussed in our previous video lesson, it will still be used in this topic. Okay? Okay, for setting up our React navigation, first you have to install the required dependencies. So here are the 5 dependencies that you have to install. So of course, I know you already installed the first two, correct? If I'm not mistaken. So the new dependencies that we needed here is the bottom tabs, the material top tabs, and the React Native screens, React Native safe area context. So you have to set this up first, install these dependencies before we proceed to the actual implementation of um, adding or creating our bottom and top navigation. Okay, so of course the first step that you're going to do after you set up already your project is to set up the basic structure in root file. So, same with the previous discussion, ito yung dapat makikita natin sa root file. And then, after that, we're going to proceed with the bottom tab navigation setup. So, the bottom navigation helps in navigating between different screens placed at the bottom of the application. So, here are the steps. Of course, number one, in your navigator file, okay, remember yung navigator file natin from our previous video lesson, doon natin nilalagay yung mga stacks of screens. So, i-reuse natin yon and ibabago natin yung contents niya. Okay, so in your navigator file, type this outside or inside before, when you type this inside, make sure it is before the return statement. And yeah, you have to type this one, const tab equal create bottom tab navigator, opening close parentheses, and of course, don't forget your semicolon. So, if hindi mo ito matatawag, ang create bottom tab navigator, it means it is not installed in your project. Hindi mo na-install yung required dependencies. Okay? So, this declaration of the tab variable with a value of create bottom tab navigator dependency, it actually creates a bottom tab navigator using the create bottom tab navigator function from the React navigation library. In other words, we are calling the create bottom tab navigator function from our React navigation library, and we are going to use that function, of course, with the help of the tab variable. So every time you want to call create bottom tab navigator, si tab variable yung tatawagan natin so that we can create a bottom tab navigator. Okay, next, step 2. Inside the return statement, follow this syntax for React navigation. So, andito pa rin yung stack of screens natin. So we still have the tab.navigator component, which defines the main container for bottom top navigator. As you can see, yung kaibahan lang naman nila is yung dependency or function na tinawag natin is iba na. Here, ang tinatawag natin is create bottom tab navigator. So, okay, so start with the tab.navigator, in which you specify the different screens the user can switch between. And then inside the tab.navigator, of course, we have the tab.screen component. So each tab.screen defines a screen or route that the user can navigate to by selecting a tab. So, lahat ng screens or lahat ng tablet screen natin dyan, ibig sabihin, these are the screens that can be rendered in our application in which the user can switch between. So, ito yung mga properties ni tablet screen. So, we have name and we have the component property. The name property specifies the label of the tab that will be displayed on the bottom navigation bar. So, etong name property, kung anong nilagay mo na value dyan, makikita natin yan sa application. It will be rendered. Yung component property naman links each tab to a React component or screen. So, the component tab, with this one, you can navigate to the different screens and take note, the screens that I'm pertaining to is actually a separate file na may sariling user interface. So this is an example of a sample output. Okay, it's not really that visible. Let me zoom in. So ito yung example ng bottom tab natin. So as you can see, we already have the home, navigation, tasks, and setting. And of course, you can switch between them. I just can't do it in this video because this is just a screenshot. But as you can see, wala siyang icons. It has this weird rectangular with X character inside. So, since ito pala yung nire-render niya na icon, so why not maglalagay tayo ng icons for each screens in our navigation. So, how do we do that? So as you can see, ito yung ginawa natin na navigator.tsx, but we already added the following line of codes. Ayan. So we added this one inside our tab.navigator start component. And the purpose of this one is so that we can insert icon and change the active tab color. So let's explain or discuss each line that we have added in our project. Starting with our screen options, line 17. Let me zoom this one for you. Okay, so the screen options in line 17. This property allows you to configure various aspects of the tab navigator. So with this one, we can configure, we can customize our navigator, such as we can adjust appearance and the behavior of the tabs in our tab.navigator. And the root variable here uh, is the root object from the options parameter, allowing us for easy access to the current route's property, in this case, our route name. So, with the use of this property, madaling nating ma-access yung route property. Okay, next, we have the tab bar icon in line 18. For this function, it is actually responsible for rendering the icon for each tab based on, of course, the current route. It takes an object containing focus, color, and size. So, as you can see, pwede yan siya, possible na lagyan mo yan siya ng size, but I don't want to set the size anymore. Kasi instead of calling a variable to set the size, instead I already set it here. So, nag-set ako automatically ng um, size of our icon. So, I'm not going to call it here anymore. But if you don't want to do that, so you can put size in line 18 and instead of 20, you put size. Ganyan. But since I don't want to do that, so I'm just gonna put a constant value for my size right there. Okay, so let me discuss each of these values here. Okay, so the focused variable is actually a boolean variable that indicates whether the tab is currently active or not, or ibig sabihin is it pressed or navigated using the your mouse. And then the color variable, oops, color variable, it indicates the color that should be applied on the icon, which changes depending on whether the tab is active or inactive. So that's for the tab bar icon function. Now let's proceed to the let icon name. So for this one, this is just a simple declaration of a variable that handles the icon names, or so that we have a variable in which is store natin yung icon name for that navigation, and it has a data type of string. So actually, I thought pwede lang ganyan, but as you can see, mag-error siya. So here in our property name, we are calling the icon name, but it indicates na kailangan daw is string yung data type because it doesn't match. Kailangan daw string si icon name. So that's why yun yung ginawa ko. I declared it, though obviously it is string naman, but hindi naiintindihan ng what they call this, ng programming language. So instead, yun na nga ang ginawa ko. You have to strictly declare that icon name is a string para mawala yung error. Okay, anyways, let's continue. So, yung sa if statement, okay, so yun na nga. So, ang condition natin dito is if yung route name, remember ha, yung route name natin is, ang kinukuha niya dito is, for example, to line 36, sabi niya if yung route, so when I say route, ito yung mga different screens in our tab.screen. Route dot name, ibig sabihin ito yung name property of each tab.screen. So it specifies the home, task, and setting. So sabi sa condition, if route.name is matches the icon name home, so sorry, if it matches home, then yung icon name natin is set to home, which corresponds to the Font Awesome home icon. And the next naman, line 23, if it matches tasks, yung icon name is set to check square, representing the tasks. And then, number 3, so sadlang hindi lang natin ma-identify yung exact icon, but later makikita natin ano yung sinasabi ko na check square. And then for line 25, if it matches settings, the icon name is set to COGS, which is, this is the keyword for the icons or typical icons for setting tab. Ayan. So, if you want to know, syempre hindi natin alam, ano ba yung mga keywords that we need to call kapag gagamit tayo ng Font Awesome icon. So, actually, marami tayong list. We can actually access the list of Font Awesome icon. You can just go to their website and view their documentation. Nandun lahat. Or, you can even go to your dependencies. So, pero magulo lang talaga siya tingnan. If you're going to, you go to node module, and then hahanapin mo yung Font Awesome. Once, make sure na naka-install siya sa project mo. Vector icons, and then we have bakit lang ito, Font Awesome. As you can see, marami, di ba? Ayan. So, you can choose either send sa kanila. Ayan, Font Awesome. Oh, wala dito yung okay, and dito yung mga keywords that we can call. Ayan, so we have music, search, power off. Ayan, daghan kina sila as you can see here sa line, sa right column. So, sobrang daming keywords, and all of this, you can use this one for your icons. But the problem here is, of course, hindi natin makikita kung saan yung itsura. So, I advise you go to their documentation sa website nila na dito ta ng itsura. Ano yung mga keywords for your icons. Okay? Okay, let's go back to our navigator.tsx. So, yun yung concept ni if condition natin. Okay, next we have our return line. We have here in line 30 to 31. So the returning, yung purpose niya is to return the font awesome icon component once it is called. So the function here returns a font awesome component which is rendered as a tab icon. So yung mga properties niya, we have the name. This ensures that if for some reason icon name ends up being empty or undefined, it defaults as to home. And yung size naman is of course yung size ng icon. And then the color, of course, what color you want your icon to be, red, green, etc. And next, we have line 33. We have, for this one, yung purpose niya is of course, to set the tab colors for active and inactive. For the tab bar active tint color, it is set to tomato. So kapag active siya or i-click na siya user, so maging tomato yung color. If inactive naman, then gray. And as you can see, I included the header shown to false so that wala tayong header na makikita sa screen natin. But if you want, of course, you can change this one to true. And then, of course, we have 37 to 40 na line. So this is a typical screen arrangement that I have explained kanina. And if you want to, instead of bottom, gusto mo yung top navigator. So you make sure na you also write the code in line 13. So here we are calling the create material tab navigator. So this one, yung navigator is sa taas, sa line top naman is sa baba. So if you want the navigation sa taas, so you just change the tab into top tab. Ayan. Then gagana na yan siya. Okay? Yun lang i-change natin. So let's try to check our code if working ba siya. So let's open it sa web. Okay, so this is the example display once you created your, what do you call this, bottom tab navigator. Okay, so andito yung tabs natin sa baba. And if you're going to click this one, of course, we will be navigated to different screens. So the home icon here, ito yan siya, yung tinatawag natin. And then yung task naman, this one. And then settings is this one, COG. So as you can see, yung navigation natin is nasa baba. And let me change. If we're going to change the color, ayan, and gray. And then now let's try to change the navigation in the top tab. So like I said, all you have to do is change the tab.navigator. So change it to top tab navigator. And also the screens. Then control save. And let's refresh our example user interface. And as you can see, yung navigation natin is nasa taas. So that's it. That's how you create your bottom and tab navigation.